Yeah, hi, hello all. Welcome to the ReactJS development session. So before I start React development demo, let me give some small intro about myself. My name is Keshav, and I have been working as full stack developer for past 9+ years, guys. And also I'm into training. Same. The moment I started my development journey, at that time onwards, I started giving trainings as part of my passion. I started it. And coming to the technologies, I am into the backend development, both Java and also I am into Node-based technologies. Coming to the databases, I'm quite good with all SQL-based databases like Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, etc. Coming to the NoSQL style databases, I'm having good knowledge in MongoDB database. Coming to the front end development, front end technologies, I'm having a good experience in technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap library I use, and also ReactJS and Angular. So that's it. This is some small intro about myself. So let's not waste much time and get into the subject. So before I talk, what is this ReactJS? And firstly, in our course, this ReactJS development course, we will be learning first JavaScript. We will be learning, and after that, we'll be learning ReactJS. The front end JavaScript will be learning, and once we are done with that, then we'll be moving to ReactJS. As we know, ReactJS is a library or it's a framework which is used by the language called JavaScript. So that's the reason. Usually ReactJS can be started, but I don't want the class to be start from JavaScript. Then only people can able to uh, code, because in this coding will be there, right? So people can able to code only when they know JavaScript properly. That's the reason I start things from the core concepts of JavaScript. So before I talk about JavaScript, first let me give you some brief introduction about how a web application will be working, because on this web application creation only we'll be using this React.js, right? So for that, I wanted to talk about it. See, generally, if you are talking about applications, software applications, we have multiple software applications on our daily basis will be working. But when you categorize them, when you are talking about different categories of applications, in a broader perspective, we can say there are two types of applications actually. They are like standalone applications. Example is which I am using now: Notepad, calculator, media player, and these are examples for standalone applications. Actually, for the running of whom we don't require internet connection. Then we have the other category of applications here, that is web-based applications. The examples are like Gmail, something like Facebook, Netflix, something Redbus, Book My Show, Amazon, etc. So these are the example for web-based applications. In simple word, we say web application. Here, in the process of web application or web-based application, to running of them or to work with these applications, we definitely require internet. When we want to talk about the first category of applications, that standalone applications, where we do not require any internet connection to work with them. Why actually we don't require internet? Because here, if you want to work with them, we need only one computer or only one system. We should know one programming language, proper programming language like something like Java, one general purpose programming or something C++ or C language, anything. We should know that language, and then we can create some programs, and then all those programs written together, it will give you one software. Software is nothing but it's a combination of programs, right? So after writing that, we have to install that in that particular system. And the motto of this standalone applications is like install once and run as many times you want. So we can able to do that. But when you're talking about this web-based application, why actually internet is required here? Because here at a time, two systems must be in working. Whereas in the first case, only one system, but in the second case, we require two systems. Why actually two systems? What are those systems? Is like, see, if you say that Gmail, take the example of Gmail. Where is the Gmail application? Where is your Gmail actually? If you say your Gmail is at your phone, then you can open your Gmail again in your computer also, laptop, right? And your same, your Gmail you can again open in your friend's laptop also. Yes, if you know the credentials. Means if you say Gmail is in my phone, then that is not the right answer, not exactly 100% correct answer, because in other place also you can open Gmail. So meaning is actually your Gmail account or whatever the Gmail data you're talking, your Gmail is not present in your phone. Your Gmail is present in some other place. It's some remote place. Let's say example in Google Office or in Gmail Office, your data actually present. Then how you are able to see is whatever the device you are using, phone or PC, computer, they are like just devices through which you are just connecting. That device or system, we say, that is called client system, guys. We say it as client system, and the second one we say it as server system. So for which we are through which we are connecting to our application is called client system. Actual where our application is storing, or where it is actually working from, that is called what? Server system. These two systems must be in connection to work with that particular application. Any application, it can be any web based application. So, okay, client system can be what? It may be a mobile which you are using, or it may be a tab which you are using, or it may be a computer which you are using, like laptop, or it can be a desktop. It could be anything, your client machine, but that is connected to one of the server machines. If you are talking about Gmail here example, it will be connected to the Gmail server computer. But how we can able to connect? See, if that server computer is also present at our place, then using some normal, like some wiring, you can use some cable, network cable, you can able to connect from our system to the server system. But the problem here is that is not present at our place, and usually it will not be at all, right? So here there is a need for us to connect it to that server system. Whenever the connection is established, then only we can work with that. So for that reason, we take the help of the internet. Why? Because internet is something where uh, all the systems are already connected to that internet. Internet is simple. In simple words, you can think like it's like a simple wire. Just assume normal understanding purpose, and it's like a simple wire where all the systems are already connected together. For that, your system connected, your phone connected, and your friend's phone connected, friend's system connected, your college system connected, your office system connected if you're working, and Gmail server computer is connected, and Facebook server computer is connected. All computers are connected to the internet. That's it, fine. Now what I have to do, I want to open the Gmail now from our computer, from our client machine. I want to open the Gmail. Then in the client machine, I have to open the browser, because using the browser only will be connecting to internet, right? Yeah. I have to open that browser. There, see, so many computers, not just 1 2 3 millions of computers are connected through internet, right? If I want to access one particular system, or if I want to connect to one particular system, then I should call it with a particular name, right? For that purpose, all the systems which are already connected to the internet will be having something like IP address. So what we have, IP address. So each device or each computer connected to the internet will have its own or dedicated IP address will be there, and we have to type that IP address in the uh, address bar of your browser, so that it will be connected to that system. But the problem here is on a daily basis we may work with the minimum of, assume or like 10 websites you have to work, or 5, whatever it is. You cannot remember the IP addresses. Why? Because the IP addresses format will be what? It would be something like a 190 point, example I'm telling, 190.01 point, something like that. The IP addresses will be there. So remembering such things for different things, will not be possible. Means different websites remembering means different servers. You can remembering the IP addresses is not a simple task. It's a very difficult task actually. So instead of that, what we do is, in that place, instead of that IP address, we use something like a concept called a domain name, or concept domain name. So here, the same, assume same Gmail, instead of its own IP address. See, it's not Gmail IP address. I'm just example I'm telling. Assume this is Gmail IP address. Instead of this IP address, we will go with the domain name for the Gmail server. The domain name for the Gmail server computer is what? Gmail.com. What we do is, in our computer, in our browser especially, we type that domain name like gmail.com. Then what happens? Our computer client will be connected to the Gmail server computer. That's it. That in this way will be connecting. Actually, for ourselves, like for users, for like normal human beings, for us it will be like gmail.com and all. But internally, that computers again will be connected through IP addresses. Internally they'll be connecting to the through the IP addresses only. But for ourselves, to make our life easy, it is like a domain name. That's it. Fine. So in this way you'll be actually connecting. But again, I did not talk about that web application working, right? So now I'm going to talk here. When you're talking about our computer, like client computer, and assume this is another computer where it is a big one. It is like a server computer. Usually the computers are usually big only, because their purpose is to serve the different requests which are coming from the different clients, right? Means different devices people will use around the world, and they are trying to connect it to your server. So the request will be coming from different places. Server should be in a position to answer those requests, process the request. So here, the left side thing will be, assume like that is a system, and I'm just considering this as a client system. This as server system. Fine. Now inside this client system, what we do, assume we open one browser. Inside that we opened a Gmail, something like that, gmail.com. Then if you have an account already in your Gmail, then what you will do, you can directly sign in, log in. You will do. But if you do not have account, you are using it for the first time, you want to create account, right? Definitely you have to create the account. To create the account, here certain fields will be there, and you will be entering the data one by one in that fields. And here you will be clicking a button like register, or something like submit. Then what happens is, actually your data will go from the client system. Assume like this is the data here, and this data will go from the client system to the server computer. Now it will go through the network. That is how we are using the internet, right? Through that network, the data will go inside the server. What will be there is, there certain programs will be already written. Assume that there is one program. The program name is something like register. And what this program will do is, whatever the data you are entering, that will take the data, and if required, it calls the database. Internally, server will be having its own database. It will be connected to one database will be there, and inside that database, you'll be having the data like some table. Let's say for example, Gmail is the example you take. Here assume like your database, inside that you have something like Gmail server is there. Inside that Gmail server, you'll be having a database where a table is there like Gmail users. So whatever the data you are entering, now the data will go and store in the Gmail server database, what Gmail users database. And after that, there will be one small message will be generated in this program. As I told you, right, it's a program. Here, one small message also will be generated in this, and that message will be like your registration successfully completed. And again, that message will be sent back from your server to the client here. Assume that message is coming back here. Whatever it goes from the client to the server is called request, guys. What we say it is a request, and whatever it comes back from your server to the client, that is called response. This is request and that is response. If you take any web application, that is just a combination of a request and response only. The way it is working, if you want to know anything, it is just a combination of request and response. See, we'll see. Next thing, after this registration, what you will do next time? Again, you will not do the registration, right? Because you already done with the registration. Now you want to use that application, the Gmail only. Then what to do? Here you have to provide start with the login, right? So in that, again you will be having a form, login form. In that you have two things only, just like username and password, and then you have to submit it. Then what happens here is, see, assume your name is something like a saumya@gmail.com, something you created your user ID, and you gave some details in the registration, you gave all the details. Then you gave one password like 1234, and you are done with the registration. And today you want to do the login activity. Then you'll be entering your credentials, right? Yeah. So then what happens is your data, again, your data will go from client system to the server system here, and this time the data is like only two things here, username and password. Then inside your server you'll be having another program actually, and the program name is something like login. There is another program like login program, and what this login program will do is whatever the data which is coming from the client, that is like username and password. As assume Saumya at Gmail is the password, username, right? Already with the Saumya username, we already yesterday we created account. Then what this will do is this will take the data from the database. What this program will do is from this for the name called Saumya, that is for the username called Saumya at Gmail, it will take the details, password and all, it will take out. Once it is taking the password from the database, then it will compare two means whatever you are entering here. Here you are entering something, no, that will go here, right? And that one and the original password, both will be matched in that particular program. So here login program, we take the two data like coming from the request and coming from the database. Two things will be compared. What will be there? Comparison means two options, two possibilities, right? Maybe you are entering the correct password, or you may not be entering the correct password. So two possibilities will be there for this. See, take the first possibility, like you are entering the right one, correct password, and you are entering there. Then what happens is here one home page will be generated in this program, and that home page will be sent back from your server to the client in the form of a response. Understood, right? So that is what happens. That is the first case. What is the second case? It will be like wrong password, right? You are entering wrong username and password. Then what happens is it will be generating. It's a program. At the end of the day, it's a program. What this program will do is it will generate one a message here, but some error message will be generating, and that error message will be sent back from your server machine to the client machine. That English, that could be anything. Your password is wrong, or password and username is not matching, or please enter the correct password. The password whatever you entered is not found. Something like that. It could be anything. Whatever matched, not matched. Then that message will be sent back to the client machine. So this is how a web application will work. Anything here, I took example of Gmail, but see the number of programs here, like register login, not just this one. You have so many programs here. If you take the example of Amazon, what you will have, even in the Gmail also you have that search program, right? In Amazon you have search, you can search the products. Next you have something like a cart, you can add the data to the cart. Next, make payment, like that you have so many programs. Fine. So if you want to work with these programs, these different programs, if you want to work, then the server side you need to create a software. Means all these programs first we have to write it. Who will write that? Server side engineer will be there, or we call them as backend engineer. He will be writing all this. To write all of them, one should be good with language, programming language. Either they should be good with Java, or they should be good with the Node.js technology, or they can be good with Python. Need not be proficient in all of them, just one of the languages. One of the technologies they are good, that is fine. Like .NET, we have different. And to develop the real-time things, real-time applications, real-time programs, see, this side whatever we see like the registration and all these things, as a normal user we cannot observe all these things, right? Means if you open, let's say example of Gmail, can you see what Java code they have written? Can you see, like, what database they are writing, what database they are using, what how database code they are writing? We can't see all these things. That's the reason in the industry we call this as backend development. Whatever we do, this side is called what? Backend development. And whatever we see with respect to Gmail application, if you take the example of Gmail only here, what we see with respect to Gmail here is, if you open Gmail, you can see the pages only, you can able to see that, right? It may be a sign up page, or it may be a dashboard page or login page. So like that you can able to see only different pages, you can able to see that one, right? So that is the reason we call it as front end. So when you're talking about any web application, it will have two things, back end and front end. Then only we can consider this as a complete web application. So, what is the role of React here? That is what important. So now, I want first I thought to give some brief about how a web application works, and what is front end development and what is back end development, so that you will be getting the idea. Now we will see where this React is going to helpful for us. So before that, as I told you, this is a back end development, front end, but in the industry this is the criteria in the earlier days. But nowadays, there is no such differences, like in terms of development. Earlier there used to be back end developers separately and front end developers separate. We will do this activity, we will do this activity. But nowadays people are expecting them to do both the sides, front end side and as well as back end side of the web application. This development is known as full stack development, and the people who does this are known as, like, front end developer, back end developer, together known as full stack developers. So they are responsible for both front end and as well as the back end of the application. Now, okay, backend we learned, like, you should know any of the programming language like Java, Node, or Python. We can able to do that. But when you are talking about the real-time applications, you cannot develop the real-time applications only with the help of a programming language or technology. Yes, we can, but in real time it will not be there. What happens is we take the help of something called framework. You might heard this word like framework. Something for Java, if you talk, there is a framework called Spring. If you talk about Express Node, there is a framework called Express. If you talk about Python, there is a framework called Django, like this. So using these frameworks, we can able to develop the applications. Framework is not just framework; it's like a combination. So let's say, for example, I want to create a application with Java backend. Then we have to take Java and Spring. We have to create using Java plus Spring. If you're talking about Node, Node plus Express, same works for everything. Because it makes developer life easy. Simple word is like, it makes developer life easy. It's like libraries. In simple words, assume this just example, normal example, blind example. Like if you use a pure Java code to develop something, if it is taking 400 lines of code. If you use along with the Spring, it may take only 250 or 200 lines or something like that. So it is like, it makes developer like life easy at developing the complex application. That's the reason always people will use technology. Along with that, people will use the framework. That's it. Assume like this is about backend. Now coming to the front end. If you want to create the front end, what we observed in the front end is nothing but it's a website, right? Different uh, applications. If you see whatever we see from our eyes is like a front end has other name like ui user interface. What actually it will be containing, simple one, website will be there. If you click that, what should happen? It is written in the server side code. See, registration, take example. Here what will be there? You can see that the website, the registration form. In that, after entering the data, the moment you click that submit, then what happens? Actual submission is happening in this program. You understood, right? Here I've written registration program. No, here actually submission will be happening. Code, everything is here. But then what is there in the registration front end side is only that form. Means people only can, see that website. But actual logic is happening in the server side. In the same way, here everything login also same. So if you want to work with web application, you should create website first of all, and also server side logic also you have to create. And this logic is also known as server side software, or in other words, we say this as application logic, or I say this as something like business logic. People say application logic or something like, business logic. If I want to create it, I should use any of the languages, Java and all, along with this framework. Okay, fine. Now front end side, if I want to create, I need to create a website. If you are talking about the website, generally what website will contain? If you take Gmail, it will contain registration page, login page, home page, something dashboard page, inbox page, sendbox page, something like that, right? All these are called web pages. So if you are talking about website, it's a combination of web pages. Means if you want to create a website, first of all we should know how to create a web page. If you know web page creation, then we can integrate all those web pages together, then that will give you a website, right? So to create a complete web application, server side we have to create. Next, client side we have to create. In client side we have to create a website. In creating the website concept, we have to first create the web pages. Server side, fine, if you know one of the languages along with its framework, then we can able to create it. That's not a big deal. It means we need a lot of code, but that's done. Now how can we able to create the front end side, that is web page creation? For this to happen, here we need to learn three technologies, guys. Here three different technologies are there, and we have to learn them. And those three technologies here are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the three technologies, three important technologies which are generally used to create the web pages and subsequently websites. If I'm telling like three, and I can use here something like, comma. You have to use like comma. Why? Because all are important. All we have to use. All are required here. Important means. Yeah. So here I mentioned Java slash Node slash Python slash something .NET and all, but here I mentioned HTML comma CSS comma JavaScript. Why? Because HTML is required, CSS required, JavaScript. Then why three technologies? Definitely the use, or the purpose of each technology may be different here. Using HTML, what we do here is we will be adding simply content to your web page. So HTML is responsible for the content of the web page here. What is the meaning of content? You have that links, you have the text, you have images, right? All the things whatever we see with our eyes to any website, all those things will be added with the help of the HTML. And when we talk about the CSS, it will be adding the stylings to your web page. And to understand that, like if you want to uh, improve the color, I mean change the colors, something, all the things we can able to do with the help of CSS. So let's say for example using HTML, assume I created one web page. In that simple heading I mentioned like, dear students, welcome to React, but that line should be in red color or yellow color or green color, white color, what it should be, that can be decided with the help of CSS. That's the reason we say simply like CSS is responsible for the appearance of the web page. Using HTML and CSS, yes, absolutely, we can create a websites, web pages, no problem. But the problem here is, if you create any website or web page using these two, the website style will be like static. What it is like a static. You know the meaning of static? Static means like, to make you understand in simple way, that yeah, if you create that website or web page using HTML only, CSS, then the page will be created, people can user can use the page, but he cannot interact with that application. Understood? He can only go through that application, like he can scroll it, he can see it, he can read it, but he cannot do any particular operations on that. Means like, the dynamic operations you cannot do, like the moment you click something, such things are to make you people understand in better way. Yeah, you have sometimes we apply something in the online, right? Some application, assume like a job application or whatever it is. Then the moment when you are typing something, there sometimes two options will be there, like are you an experienced IT professional? Then what you will do, you will have two options like yes or no. The moment you select no, nothing will happen, but the moment you select yes, there will be one box will be coming right to the below to that, and there they will be asking about the details about your previous employment or previous work details. If you choose no, it will not come. And this activity I cannot achieve with the HTML CSS. You understood it? Using HTML CSS, I can keep that box to come, or I can leave that box. But if a user select yes, then only box should come. If user select no, then box should not come. Such implementation we cannot do with the help of HTML. So that is called that nature is called dynamic nature, and HTML CSS creates only static web pages. So that's the reason we have to take the help of JavaScript. So here, what happens is, JavaScript adds the dynamic nature to your web pages. That is important here. It adds the dynamic nature. All the functionalities will be added to your web page. That is, the dynamic nature will be added to the web page. And how that will be adding this dynamic nature is by writing the programs. We can able to add it. That's the reason this JavaScript is something which is a responsible for the behavior of your web page. Behavior meaning is, see, just now I told you one example, right? Like some application you are doing, and assume uh, that site name is something like abc.com. In that you are applying for some job. Then here two three people are there, right, in my class now. Here in online two three. So assume one person like Soumya is opening the abc.com, other person like Faraz is opening the abc.com. Soumya is opting for experience yes, and Faraz is opting for experience no. Then for Soumya the extra box will be shown there, like extra form where you have to enter other details like previous experience. But for Faraz it will not show. Means same website, same web page, but for Faraz it is acting differently, but for Soumya it is acting differently. Means the behavior, how it has to be, uh, work, or how it has to display thing, such things are changing, right? Such things are done with the help of JavaScript. And also JavaScript helps us to provide the validations also. You know the validations, right? I mean, if you're entering wrong, I'm not talking about the username correct and all that is taken care by your server side program. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the client side validations. Means you have to do registration. Then if they miss to enter the first name, or if they miss to enter the mobile number, before you send the data to the server, first here only we can check, in our browser level only we can check, like whether they filled all the fields or not. Same works for password. Password, they're entering normal password. Then you have to tell like before you enter the data to the what we call it, server registration process. I'm talking. You have to enter the password with minimum 8 characters, and in that password you should have alphabets, minimum one alphabet, one capital letter, one small letter, like that. Some companies, all these things we can able to do with JavaScript. Fine, but where that what we call React comes, now we are going to talk about it. That when you look at that right side thing like Java, Node, Python, I told you when you're talking about the real-time development, we take a programming language, but apart from that, we take the help of a framework. Right? Framework is not a programming language. Firstly, Spring is not programming language. Django is not programming language. Express is not. Then what they are? They are the frameworks, and they are built on the top of some programming language. Spring is written in Java. That's it. But using Spring along with Java, you can write code easily. Easily means complex applications you can develop properly without writing much code. The same way, coming to the front end side now, HTML, CSS are very simple languages. Means HTML will add what? Just content, right? How content is added with the help of tag. In HTML, the content is always added with the help of tags. Like a paragraph, you want to add p tag. That's it. That much simple it is. You want to add CSS. Like I want to change the uh, text size. Then there is something like font size, like properties are there. So in CSS, everything can be added with the help of properties. If you learn the properties, that's it. That is about CSS. If you learn the tag names, that is about the HTML. So what I want to say here is there is no much programming logical uh, code will not be there much in terms of logical thinking. There will be no much programming in HTML and CSS. It's pretty straightforward. But when it comes to JavaScript, I told you dynamic nature to be added. If you select this, something should come. If you select that, something should come. I can tell you another real-time example, like when you're talking about online bus booking site, where you can say from Hyderabad to it's like Bangalore, then click the date, then available buses, then you will get a list of assume 10 buses is coming with some names and all. Now change Hyderabad to Chennai, then click it. Then in the same place where earlier displayed buses, in the same place, the data will come with Hyderabad to Chennai buses, maybe this time 20 buses, something. In the same place, the data coming, in the same web page, in the same place, but other data is coming, you understand? That is what dynamic nature is about. To implement this functionality, we have to learn the JavaScript as a programming language. It has its own data types, conditions, variables, working with variables, and have loops, arrays, strings. All the things will be there the way usually for any programming language. All the things will be there for JavaScript. We have to learn it and we have to implement it. When you're talking about JavaScript, it's a programming language, right? By writing pure JavaScript code also, we can able to create the front ends, we can create the websites, and we can write the, or we can add the dynamic nature also. But the problem here is not a problem, we can write, but the way we have frameworks for backend, here also we have the framework. But for HTML, CSS, it's easy, no? We can directly do. But here we have to take the help of framework. But if you know, guys, right side I mentioned like Java, Node, Python, .NET, different flavors are there. That's why we have something. But here, coming to this front end side, we don't have any other language. We have only one language called JavaScript. To add the dynamic nature, we do not have any other language. Browser can understand only one language called JavaScript. So, due to its popularity, we have multiple frameworks available for JavaScript. Not just one framework, we have multiple frameworks. In that category, we have uh, multiple. I told you know that we have like Angular, React, or people say ReactJS, and we have something like Vue.js, and we have something like embark.js, we have something like Nest.js, backbone.js, next.js, something like that. We have a lot of list is there, and among them, these three are quite popular frameworks, and among these two are more popular, and Out of them, we are learning a framework like React here. The thing is, recent days, like days means like past few years, like at least the last 3 years, I can say the React has got more popularity. Anyhow, it was popular, but its popularity has been increased like anything. So multiple times it's increased in recent days due to its features and all. That we will talk in the upcoming sessions. What are those features and all? At this moment, you may not understand what is that. Because first we should know how things are happening through JavaScript, pure JavaScript. Then we will come to know what are the advantages of React and all. But there are so many advantages are there. Coming to the simple thing is compared to Angular and React, it is like learning curve. If you want to learn Angular, it will take some more time to implement and all, learn and implement. But when you're talking about React, it will not take that much time. If you are good with JavaScript, then directly you can work with the React.js. And this React.js is started by Facebook people, but initially they did it only for themselves, but later it became a open source. Anyone can use it for their development. So this is about React, where the work like a word like React comes into picture. And in our course, as I already mentioned, starting only that we will be learning both this one, JavaScript and this React.js will be learning as part of our course. So the front end development, this learning will be front end. Yeah, if you are interested, you can learn the back end development also. Once this is done, you can join for my back end development also. I'll be teaching both the Java development, Java back end development, and both Node.js development as well. But in this course, that React.js, we'll be learning about JavaScript and React.js. So when you're talking about that, you'll be starting everything from the scratch. That is, the basics of JavaScript will be starting here. And once you're done with that, and then we'll be learning all intermediate concepts, and then we'll be learning about advanced concepts, and we will be learning something about ES6 concepts. There are some features related to ES6. If you know, fine. If you don't know, so don't worry. We'll be learning all about all those things, and then we'll be moving towards React.js. And in this course, we'll be doing more than 20 plus real-time tasks you'll be implementing, guys, and I'll be giving you the assignments. And 2 to 3 real-time projects you'll be doing here, depending on the time. I will do that, but minimum 2, maybe 3 real-time projects you'll be doing during this course. And my course will be completely the practical course here. Whatever I say immediately, I'll be coding it, and like practically I'll be implement it, and I expect the same from your end as well. And to learn this course, what are the prerequisites? So the thing is, you don't require to have, but it will be very good if you guys are having already idea about HTML and CSS. Coming to this CSS, okay, fine. If you don't know much of the CSS, this idea it will be helpful. And coming to the HTML, you should know all basic things in the HTML, like how paragraph is added, how images are added, how links are added, how table is added to the web page, right? So these things you guys must and should know before we start this. Just an idea about CSS and this things. If you already know, fine. If you don't know, also you do one thing. Just have a small recap. You can get the all these things easy only. Just to tags, you can just to do some research. You can get it. Even same works for the CSS as well. Fine, guys. So these are the things which we'll be dealing in our course called React.js development. And in this, see, as I told you, everything is practical and completely it's an industry-oriented course, where the way you will be working in the real-time scenarios. In that way only, you'll be working here, and from our React, and we'll be connecting to backend APIs. Some of the backend APIs which I create, for those backend APIs will be connecting, or some already available backend APIs outside will be connecting to those APIs. So how we are able to connect to the backend, and how we are getting the data from the backend, how the request to be sent, how the responses to get, and how to display those responses. All the things, we'll be learning in our course. So I hope you people. Yeah, the course would be 1 month. The duration of the course would be 1 month about the JavaScript and React.js. And the class time will be morning. It will be 9:15 or 9:30, 9:15 or 9:30. I will let you know. So the 1.5 hour session would be there, and it will be lasting for 1 month. Clear, Smita? So coming to this session, guys, I don't want to get into any much of the technical things today itself. So I want to give you the overview complete. First of all, what are the web application working, and what is front end, what is back end. In the front end, uh, what is JavaScript role, what is HTML role, what is CSS role, and why we have to learn JavaScript, and why we have to learn React.js, right? And all these things I told you, and the features of this course as well I mentioned. Firoz, for us, I told you, 9:30 a.m. So that's it from my side for today's session. If you guys are having any doubts, you can unmute yourself. You can ask me your doubts, or you can open chat box. In that also you can send your queries. I'll be answering you guys. And else, if you are clear, if you do not have any doubt, just let me know. Uh, you are clear with this.
Yeah, clear.
If it is full stack, it will be 3 months for us. Some may have any doubt. Yeah. Okay, then guys. But as I told you, the sessions are completely, practical, and that too from the scratch, from the basic of the JavaScript. I will be, starting. You don't need to worry at all. Even the programming also. If you don't know any programming also, don't worry about it at all. I'll be starting everything from the scratch, so that you people can able to follow it. So that's it, guys. Thank you. I am looking forward to meet you in the next session, guys. Bye, guys. Take care.